welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I have wanted to for a while now kind of tell everybody my story, if you will. Story specifically relating to school because there was a lot. Already with the material that I've created so far, it's already 15 minutes and I highly doubt people are gonna actually be interested for 15 minutes, but that's just like pictures alone. So I'm making this video to give a vocal but also more detailed explanation of my journey to my job. Let's get to it. First off, I was interested in healthcare due to the fact that I myself have kind of grown up in the healthcare system. Not necessarily system, but like environment. I had my own heart problem when I was younger, and that influenced what I wanted to do. I've always I don't love being in hospitals. I like the medical field. Let's just put it at that. I have a lot of relatives also who are in the medical fields. That also was a reason. I looked around when I started being interested and graduating from high school and everything like that. I was like, what college do I want to go to? So at the time, chose a college that only gave dual program for echo specifically. So if I wanted to just do echo and echo only, unless I wanted to travel an hour away every day, I would have to go to this school. I'm not gonna name the school. That school at the time only offered for echo and vascular program. So I was like, okay, I guess it's fine if I do vascular too. I mainly went for echo. 2019, I got accepted. So I was able to graduate from my first college already and then prepare for everything that I needed for fall. I had already graduated from my first college and I was getting ready to go into this college, which I think having a college experience first really helped this. That's all I'm gonna say. First college, I get accepted. It starts in August. So August, September, October, November, December. 5 months is the first semester. And it went downhill. So it wasn't because of me, it was because of other people. First off, it started great. In the beginning, it was great. I loved my classmates. I had trouble like fitting in, but thankfully with my first college experience, I knew 2 of my classmates already. One of the classmates decided to split and go into a different field. She went into general instead of cardiovascular, which is fine, but it was sad, but I liked her. So then it only left me with one classmate who I knew, which that saved my later. Let's just say that now. Knowing her and establishing a reputation with her before doing this saved my. So start in the fall semester, and the first 3 months, the first month was good. I got to know people. Let's just say I had no idea what to do. I didn't know what was expected of me. I didn't understand the material. School attempted to help, but the way that they taught, certain people in that program are not approachable at all. And as much as they say you can ask any questions, you don't ask questions. So it made it very difficult for me to say, hey, I'm struggling with this concept. Can you explain it to me? So the first months, I learned to do it myself, to try to teach myself. And already within the first couple of months, I saw my classmates having cliques already. It soon became that there were only 6 of us. 2 had a clique. 1 was by themselves, 1 was by themselves. I was by myself, and then a another person was trying to also fit in. So I don't know why, but I felt like I couldn't join anybody else. And so then me and that said person decided to kind of work together, which was a horrible mistake. With deciding to work together, it started okay by hanging out and working on homework together. And I was trying to help them from the generosity of my heart to understand concepts, but it took a bad turn. I'm editing a video over here, just so you know, or else I'm not going to be able to think straight. So I started to let emotions influence, and young, dumb, 19 years old, not really knowing what was going on. I don't really know a way to say this. I tried something out and it didn't work. With this program, you have to really focus your time and energy into the first semester to just get through, and then once, like, a building block, like they say, it's a building block. So the first semester, you have to get your foundation. You have to understand how heavy the course material is, but also like how to get through it and establish your own studying routine, blah, blah, blah. And you don't really have time for anybody else. So I was already used to like the studying and the academic part of it, but I didn't have experience in telling people no, but also understanding when I need to tell them no. Unfortunately, shit hit the ceiling, and I realized that this person had no idea what they were doing here. And instead of just being humble and bowing out, they were deciding to take people down with them. And I was that person that they were going to take down with them. The stuff that I had genuinely meant to help and the stuff that I did, they took it and they completely mashed it up and they threw it back in my face. And by that metaphor, I mean they started rumors, nasty rumors, disgusting rumors about me. And granted, this is only 6 people. Everybody's gonna know. So my teachers knew about it. I didn't know about it at the time. My teachers knew about it and my other classmates knew about it. And because of those rumors that were started and false accusations, they looked at me in a different way. I had no idea that this was going on at the time. I thought that people didn't want to be around me. I felt weird. I felt secluded. I felt singled out, which at the time was true because of these rumors and all the shit that they did. I was like, okay, nobody's gearing for me, so I'm gonna do this on my own. And this is in the span of 4 months. 4 months, people. Anyway, October to November is when everything explodes. So October, I decided to do it myself, and November is when I found out about everything that had been going on behind my back. And by that, I mean I found out about the rumors that were being spread. I figured out what was being said, what was being shown to people, what was being falsely accused of me. And the way that this happened is that in November, I was like at my wit's end. I had mentally exhausted. I was stressed because I knew that I probably wasn't going to pass this semester. My grades weren't great. I didn't know how to get help. I did ask for help. It wasn't given to me. And I was just at this point. I remember that day of where it was kind of the class together and everybody was in their own little things. And I got up to go get something. I don't remember. It's traumatic, so I pushed it to the back of my head, but I got up to get something, and 3 of the girls in my group, they said, hey, do you want to go get lunch at this place? And I was like, what is going on? Because they never asked me to do anything with them. And this is nothing against them. This was all nothing against these people. It was all a fest. So I was like, okay. And for some reason I said yes, because originally I was like gonna be like no. So I went with them and I got food, and we went to the parking lot to go in, and they just stopped the car and they all like turned to me and said, what is going on? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, so this person is saying XYZ about you and saying that you're doing XYZ, and they were like, we need to get to the bottom of this because we feel like you hate us. And I was like, what the Number one, I didn't hate you. I don't hate you. Like, so basically, not gonna say what was being said because that's all in the past now. It was nasty stuff. It was stuff that didn't even need to be said. It was all stuff said out of jealousy, insecureness, and so all of that was just being said to bring somebody else down. So we got to the bottom of it that day. I went home and cried just because of relief of realizing what was going on, but also like, what the this one person who was so insecure of themselves decided to not only turn me against everybody, but everybody against, just because I said I didn't want to do something. The entire beginning of the semester, everybody else meaning these 3 people, had wanted to try to get with me to study and hang out and just establish a connection. However, this other person was there, and this other person said, she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't like you guys. Without even talking to me. Granted, they didn't even talk to me, but they just took it at their word, and they were like, okay. So then that just kind of established weird awkwardness between everybody. And then on the other hand, that person came to me and said, because I had told them, hey, I wanted to get together with them. No, they don't want to get together with you. They don't like you. Once everything came to light, everybody in the group shunned that person. Because number one, they had no right to do that to anybody, but also it's despicable behavior. They were shunned, and that was November. I tried to get my together. I tried to study. I got together with the people who like actually cared about me, and I tried to get my grades up. And I even went to my professors and I said, hey, I need to pass. What can I do? It was only one class and one professor. What can I do to pass? And it wasn't by much. I just need a little bit. And like extra credit, extra scanning time, whatever. I will do anything. And she basically said, too bad, so sad. Good luck. I was like, okay, thank you. But so I finished the semester and I did not pass. And I remember that day very vividly because it was fucking traumatic. My other professor sat me down and she handed me a box of tissues and I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. So I knew it at that point and I started crying because I was like, really? And it was by 0.4. 0.4. I calculated it is how much I needed to pass. These fucking sly people. 0.4. Are you fucking kidding me? I was so angry. One extra credit, paper, assignment could have gotten me, but no. So that was 2019, early 2020. December is when I got let go from the program. My life absolutely sucked after that. Let me tell you, it really fucking did. Mentally, had to recover from everything that blew up in my fucking face, and it was horrible. It was emotionally horrible. I hated it, and I hated myself. I really did. I hated doing the things that I did that got me to that place, and there was a lot of self-loathing. I had no idea what to do. I was like, what the fuck do I do? This is what I wanted to do, and I can't do it now. So after a lot of discussions and painful lectures, I was able to get back into the program after, but I obviously couldn't start because it would be next year. So August of 2020 was when I would be able to get back in. I was able to get back in, but I needed to do something in the meantime. And my parents were like, either work for however many months that is, or do more school. And I was like, school. So I enrolled in a phlebotomy class because that was another one of my interests, and I really couldn't do anything else. So I enrolled in a phlebotomy class, and it was 45 minutes away every other Friday. It lined up perfectly for the timing, because it started when I got let go, and then it stopped when I should have started back up again. It was in the middle of winter when I had to drive there, and it wasn't horrible, but distinctively there was one day where I was driving and I hated everything. I hated myself. I hated the emotions that I was feeling. I just wanted it to end. And end is exactly what you're thinking. I wanted it to be over. I was very suicidal during those couple of months. And that day when I was driving, now this is the like stupid part, but it's probably not stupid, but this is where I'm gonna lose some of you. So music has an impact on the brain, scientifically. But anyway, there's a certain band group that got me through the first part of my program. And then during the time that I had been let go, I stopped listening to them because I was very upset. So then by the time I started up this different class, they had released a new album. And on that drive to the school, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna listen to it. Boy, did I cry so hard. So there are 2 songs that I absolutely lost my brain over because they're very emotional, but also like I know what these people have been through and I have so much respect for them. And I would go as far to say as they saved me that day. I'm serious, because I wanted it to end so badly because I thought that there was nothing left. 2 songs that brought me back, but there was a phrase in one of those songs that really cinched it. It's "Don't you give up your life." I was like, well, he told me not to do it, so I can't do that. That's basically the mindset. That's as low as my brain was. It's like, if somebody tells me to do something, I'll do it because I don't have any of me left. So Namjoon told me not to give up my life, so I didn't. And I have him to thank for that. It's gonna lose a lot of people, but it's serious. I'm not gonna go into details. I thought of ways to do it, and I wasn't proud of it, but I was like, at this point, it's bad. So Namjoon told me not to give up my life, and ever since I listened to that album, I slowly pieced myself back together again. Fast forward, I finish up that phlebotomy class, and it's August of 2020, and I'm to start up again. I start up again, but I'm like, hey, I've already done all these first semester classes. Do I need to take them again? The people at this school formed a bridge class because I already completed everything. I just needed to get in a passing grade in that one class that I didn't pass, and I would move on to the next semester. I did that class, and I finally got a passing grade in that stupid class that I don't even utilize today. I passed, and I met all my classmates, and some of them dropped out immediately. Some of them waited a little bit to drop out, but eventually it did get down to 6 again. And let me tell you, I carried my class that entire semester because I saved all of my work. And I mean all of it. All the tests, all the I carried them. So I was able to help and educate my classmates and help them study just because they saved all the material. It's like, I would have loved for somebody to help me do that the first semester, but nobody did, so I'm just gonna do it for other people. I passed the first semester, went smoothly. Second semester goes much better this time because everybody's screwed their head straight on. Second semester comes and goes. It's kind of smooth. No, it's not smooth, but it bearable, not even bearable. I don't even know what to say. It happened. It wasn't great, but it happened. There was a lot of tears. There was a lot of crying, a lot of hatred, but it happened. So slowly during this semester, I realized that certain people don't want me here. Not classmates. And it's only one person. This one person doesn't want me in the program because they are prejudiced. Once I started realizing that, I had my eyes open a little bit more. So then it came time for clinicals. And I kept telling them, I cannot support myself if you send me away. I want to stay in the program. I passed this time. I have shown you far that I have the strength and the willpower to do it. So I kept telling them many times, like, hey, I would prefer as much as possible not to leave because I cannot support myself. And I have family situations at home that require me to need to be there. My relative had recently had surgery, and I, at the time, was the only caretaker of them. And I explained all this stuff to them. Did they give a shit? Absolutely not. When clinical placement came out, I was so angry. I was angry not only because I was going to a place that I had no fucking idea where it was. I was the only person to be sent away. Everybody else got clinical sites 10-15 minutes from their fucking house. But not me. I get sent an hour away. So the rest of the semester was garbage because I was angry that not only did they even listen or consider anything I said, they fucking send me away. So I was like, well, I have to make the most of this. And I know that this is another reason that they're trying to kick me out of the program again. I found an apartment, and it wasn't cheap. It was definitely dingy and shady, very shady, but it was bearable at the time. And I made an agreement with my parents that they would help support me outside of the house until I passed. I move, it's horrible moving day. I move into the apartment and I do clinical. And the clinical site that I was at told my instructor that they didn't want a student. Don't send a student here, we don't want them. We can't have a student at this time. Now, I don't know if they didn't want me or they just didn't want a student. If they just didn't want a student, I don't care. But it did slip out that I was not on any ranking. Like for my program, you have to rank. You have to do interviews and then this site ranks you and then you rank them, and it's stupid. But I wasn't on anybody's ranking, which is stupid. That was very encouraging. My confidence is absolutely blown. I have nothing, and it just goes downhill from here. I go to the site, and I'm trying to make the best of it, but this site has 2 different locations. There's a clinic and a hospital, and every other week, I would be going between the 2 of them, and realistically, that wouldn't happen. They were like, we're trying to make this as most realistic as possible. That wouldn't fucking happen. It wouldn't. Not only did I have to juggle between 2 different locations, I had to juggle between 2 different sets of people. They say that having many different perspectives is good for you. It is. Not unless what they say goes, though. So I had 12 people that I had to cater towards each time I was with them. And yes, like, changing your studies per what they like is difficult, but try doing that 12 times. And let me tell you, 3 of those 12 people were absolutely two-faced liars. They are, again, insecure people. They're jealous people. They're prejudiced people. And they made my life hell. They made it hell. I hated, again, life. I hated school. I hated life. I hated them. I hated clinical. I dreaded. I'm not just saying, oh, I don't want to go to school. No, I fucking dreaded interacting with them. I hated it. So much anxiety, so much fear. They instilled so much fear in me. And they sat and laughed. They laughed because they knew that they could get away with it. So I hated one location with certain people in it. The other location was just fine. And I did well there. And I said to my preceptor, hey, I'm doing better at this location. Is it possible to spend a little bit more time here since they have more studies for me to do? No, we think that it's best that you get both of the locations. So at this point, it wasn't from a student perspective at all. They didn't treat me like a student at all. They treated me like an employee, which is not right at all. I'm not an employee. I'm a student. I'm supposed to be learning. I'm not supposed to be learning how to deal with fucking people. But yet, that's what they do. I'll deal with that when I'm graduated. That's none of your concern now. I'm here to learn. I'm here to study. Let me fucking study. But no. So it's like, okay, I'll do that. I endured painfully. It's absolutely garbage. So I endured a lot of tears in general. It got so bad at this site between what I was telling my school preceptors versus what my clinic preceptors was telling them. He said, she said, started happening that I told school I can't be here anymore. I can't be at this site anymore because what they're doing. And I had people backing me up who'd been in healthcare a long time, and they reamed my school instructors saying this can't happen. And finally, there was a break in the clouds. So I moved sites. Now, this site is down the street from where my clinic site was. And I'm going to this new location. I'm like, what the is gonna happen now? Oh my God, light and day. Light and day. This new site made me have hope again. I'm serious. This new site did things so much better, more competent, more reliable. Everything was 100% better. There wasn't bullshit happening. There wasn't blaming going on. It's so much better. I was like, if this is hell, where the have I been? Hell meaning the past clinical site. I'm like, why the did you even send somebody here? If they said they didn't want a student and there's another site like 10 minutes away, why the fuck would you not ask them? Because they wanted to kick me out, that's why. Anyway, I finished my clinical at this site and it was amazing. Amazing. I got to be with the best group of people. Real, honest people who didn't give a shit. Like, okay, I'm not that, but like, let me back up. Like, it's school. It's school. You pass school and you learn. That's the whole point. You graduate and then you learn. They did what needed to be done during school. And I passed and I learned. I learned from them. Let me tell you, like, they started teaching me stuff on the machine and I was like, I'm sorry, what? You can do what now? They didn't teach me that at the other site. So I am so blessed to have that new site be offered to me. And that was a blessing because without them, I would be nowhere at this point. So thank you. I finally graduated. I graduated and it was the best day of my life because I could tell everybody to go themselves. And I'm gonna tell one specific person this. Here's that. That's how I feel finally. I graduated and I had a job lined up already. Now, switching over to current job. I already knew that I was gonna go for my bachelor's, but graduation day. So I graduate, start my job. Still don't know what I'm really doing. I have school experience, but I don't have like actual job experience. This next like year is me learning everything, learning to do. I didn't even know you could do an imaging agent. So they mentioned something briefly in school about it, but they didn't teach you anything about imaging agents. In the first clinical site, they had it. They didn't use it as much. They didn't want to use it. This site, they use it. And I feel like this site uses it great. Like, we use it when we need it. And we need it a lot. So they taught me about Definity, Definity is, as I tell people my spiel, it's a liquid fat solution, better visualizing your endocardium. So it's a short-acting drug. So, and it filters through your lungs, and then as you breathe it out, it gets out through your system, blah, blah, blah. Definity, it's a liquid solution in a syringe, and you shake it, and then you can go from not visualizing very well to visualizing very well. So that's why we use Definity, and it's great. I also learned about TEEs, which, again, brief, literally 1 page in school about. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm not going to be doing them. Wrong. Yeah, I'm doing TEEs now. I am not physically doing the TE, but the doctor is. I take pictures, which is just fine with me. So here's me bagging a TE probe, and it took me a little while to actually understand the whole process of step 1, step 2, step 3. How to bag it, but you bag it, and then they kind of come all neat and packaged, and that's what we use. And then also outreach was a new thing for me. They did outreach at the previous site, but I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So you just pack up a machine, you go out to this location, and then you do the echoes, and then you come back, and then you template them. That's it. It's a couple different machines. We have CX50s and we have Epics. Love Epics. 650s are good. Their image quality is but their size is great because sometimes the rooms are very small. But Epics, as small and as amazing as Epic technology is, they're still pretty big sometimes. I love Epic machines. They're great. So my advice for people going through this program. Hello, sorry for the interruption, but as I'm editing this video, I realized that I forgot to mention a couple of things. After I graduated, you're supposed to sit for your board before you graduate, and because I originally, sorry, this is all allergies, I knew I was probably gonna do better with echo, so I decided to do my vascular board first, and I did not pass before I graduated for vascular. I went vascular, I didn't pass it. I then did echo and studied for echo after I graduated, and I didn't pass echo the first time either. So I kind of flip-flopped between the two of them because they also do make you sit before you can take it again a certain amount of time. So I did study juggling the two of them, echo one time, vascular, and so on and so forth. Vascular was such a struggle for me. I originally was echo. I didn't care about vascular at all. I just wanted echo. And so I took vascular many times. Let's just say that. And it became the famous phrase of, I used to like vascular, now I don't. Until I did pass them. And I did pass them. It was terrifying because, you would get done with your test and you're like, oh my God, did I pass or not? One question, did I get it right, wrong, and so on. And so in the process of taking the tests, I learned how to take their tests, but also the mentality of it, which during studying, I started to have heart problems again. And so then I went to one of the cardiologists / electrophysiologists. They gave me a heart monitor because I was having a lot of problems, and it turned out to be fine. It's just anxiety really messes up my body in many ways, anxiety and stress. So know what your body does under stress and be careful. Okay, you'll get it. So I'll let you get back to the video. First advice is find the good people because there are shits out there, let me tell you. Trust me, there are people out there. Find a good group to study. Some people study alone, great. I did have a classmate who was like that. Some people study better with people. That is me. I study better with people. Find what your study style is, but also find the people who help you, not use you. Another point. Find your people. Do stuff you enjoy. Yes, school is garbage, but find stuff and do stuff that you enjoy. So mine was bearded dragons. I love my bearded dragons. I love my cats. I also love my knitting and my crocheting. So as much as school was stressing me out, sometimes I would just do it. I would do it while I was watching a study video. You need a release in your brain. It's so stressful and so chaotic up there. You need a release, a healthy, reasonable release. No drugs, no alcohol. That would be my advice. And to stick with it, as horrible as it can be sometimes, stick with it. I know there are hoops that you have to jump through. That's just life. But at the end, it's sunshine and rainbows. It really is. And if you are so focused on the negatives, that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to see is the negatives. And it's really hard to switch your mindset from only noticing the negatives to start seeing the positives. And once you start seeing the positives, that's when things are going to start happening. That's my advice. Music was another one of mine that I really enjoyed. I got back into BTS. If you didn't know it, that's the band. I got back into them and they really boosted my serotonin levels. Keep your chin up. You got this. You'll get it. Don't you give up your life. Also, Cookie released a song at the time to Stay Alive. That song, absolutely amazing. But that song too, with Louder Than Bombs, I think. Don't you give up your life, please you stay alive. That phrase got me through. Don't you give up your life, and please you stay alive, people. That's it for this video. I think I covered everything. But even after work, like even after I graduated and I actually started working, it took a good year for me to actually establish myself and like know what to do, how to edit the machine, the images, process what I was doing, so on and so forth. So give yourself a year after you graduate to actually become competent ultrasound technician. Because I feel like I'm competent now. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. I don't. And that's okay. It's a learning experience. It's the process. Give yourself some grace. If a new opportunity comes, learn from it. Mistakes are there so that you can succeed. Unfortunately. Trust me, I've been through some post-school that were absolutely horrible. Learn from it. Don't do it again. And move on. It's your actions that matter in what you do with the situation. You can either just sit or you can actually do something about it. That's it. An hour long. That's my school experience. And I only was able to do it 3 years after I graduated. Just because I finally feel like I know what the fuck I'm doing. For once. Thank you for watching if you've gotten it this far. If you haven't, I don't blame you. I really don't. But that's my school experience. It wasn't anything to be really happy about. It was a struggle the entire way. But I got there in the end. I will leave you guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something. You know something that you didn't know. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye guys.